So you both have attended Steinreich Bible School here, and you have students from a variety of Mennonite backgrounds from Canada, U.S., Mexico, Belize, sometimes Bolivia and other places. Talk a little bit about the different languages that students use here at the Bible School for school, and then also just like for socializing.
No. Well, for school, all the classes were always in Plotkic, and, well, then there's the language classes, but I think what we use mostly to socialize would just be English and German and everything.
Kind of a mix of
mixed
all
up.
kinds of things. Yeah.
Mixed, yeah.
I think we were talking about it the other day, and it's hard to express yourself in German because the vocabulary is kind of limited.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I've noticed this year the interaction is way more English because it is easier and everything. So I think it depends also, like I think there are like, every year there are waves of people. Like some years it's like, oh, there's this huge group from Canada coming. And then this year it was from Belize. Yeah. So most of them, they just kind of speak English.
Yeah, for sure.
So then I've noticed that this year it's been harder to keep it to German, like even the interaction between us as students. But
yeah.
And the thing is, I think the reason why all that happens too is because we know more than one language. And to some extent, I guess it is laziness, because you don't want to spend lots of time thinking how you say that in the language you're speaking. So you just throw in a Spanish word or an English word or a German word, you know, you just, But I think it is mostly mixed. Everyone speaks whatever they feel like.
And if somebody, maybe if they're not as comfortable speaking one language, you know that they understand it at least, and then they'll speak to you in what they feel comfortable in, and just kind of a knowledge that like, oh yeah, like, you know, you'll speak and work in your comfort language and you'll be understood.
And I think that's something that, well, we all understand around here. Sometimes, like you said, if you're not comfortable with something, with some language, then you just speak in your language, and then don't expect the other person to answer in that language, just whatever they feel comfortable with. And that's why I think often it's even more mixed as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And so, Caro, like you were saying that, like, it kind of goes in waves, like some years you'll have a lot of students from Canada. Are there a lot of students from here locally? And then what's typically like their language of choice for socializing?
Yeah, there are quite a few from around here. I've noticed that depending where you live. I've known some, especially from our area, Berville, some Hawaiian, and especially if it's like from Tamaulipas and everything, they do mostly German.
Okay, yeah, for sure.
Unless they go to church, like Lebenswasser, there are some. With them, it's more English. So it's depending of the background and what church they go to.
For sure.
I feel that's kind of like the language they speak or where they're most comfortable with.
And so somebody maybe from a little bit more of a traditional background would feel more comfortable in German.
Definitely.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, because I don't think they have had any English or very limited. So then they wouldn't feel comfortable or they would feel self-conscious about speaking in English.
And most of them just learn it by picking up from other people speaking, you know, and they feel self-conscious about
speaking it.
Yeah, exactly. And it's interesting because here at the Bible School might be an opportunity for people to, whatever language that they're not as comfortable with, they're picking it up more and more just because they're hearing it maybe more than, you know, where they would be, you know, in Canada, for example, maybe like a lot more Plotich than they'd be used to hearing in Canada, depending on where they're from. But that's interesting. And Amelia, you teach Spanish here at the Bible School. Talk a little bit about that experience of teaching Spanish to students here at the Bible School.
It is interesting. some people are very eager to learn and others aren't so much, right? It is really interesting.
Yeah.
Just teaching them a new language.
Yeah.
It's very interesting. It's fun.
Yeah. And so the backgrounds of the students who take the Spanish courses, because the Spanish courses are by choice that they take, right?
Yes.
And are they typically German speakers, English speakers, a mix?
There's quite a few German speakers and quite a few English speakers as well. This year I have some students that are like from the States or Canada, and then there's others that live around here, and they have a higher level of Spanish and they have to learn something different than the ones from Canada, because what I think is the ones from Canada and the States, you have to teach them something that will help them the 3 months that they're here. If you want to teach them grammar and everything, it doesn't help them anything, because they will go back and they don't have any place to practice it. So,
for sure. Yeah, absolutely. And so I sat in on one of your classes, and it was really interesting to kind of see the instruction kind of in and out of English and Spanish and German. And so what language do you try to teach in the most?
See, that's what I mentioned before too. Sometimes I guess it is laziness because I don't like to think too long, and then I just throw an English word in there or a German word. But it depends. In that one class, I would use English more, and in the other one, the people that live around here, I would do German more.
And so it really depends on the background of the student, like what you would end up doing.